Pico is the CEO of the organization. He is our Canine Experience Officer.
Let's play city word association. Cheesesteak, the Alamo, Muhammad Ali, grunge. Some places are so deeply connected to an identity that a single word unmistakably locates you there. It's not branding, it's something different. It's civic identity. So what happens when a neighborhood tries to create an emotional shortcut to its identity? One district in downtown Los Angeles may have designed the perfect face for their neighborhood. The only question that remains is, who's a good boy?
Nolan Marshall, President and CEO of the recently rebranded LA Social District. Social District is home to LA Live, Crypto.com Arena, and our $3 billion convention center modernization project. We've got about 15,000 residents. I think we're the coolest business improvement district in Southern California.
So I'm envisioning you at a board meeting at some point and said, okay, I've got this idea. And I've known you long enough to know you have ideas.
I wasn't as naive as to think with public safety, cleanliness, those being the top priorities of every stakeholder, that I could just insert a mascot into the discussion. What I did was insert a project codenamed Sparky into my budget diagram. So I told them, just trust me. I'd built up enough capacity at that point that, they did trust me. This will surprise you. I hadn't thought through all the details. I'd gone on Amazon and sort of looked at what ordering a costume might cost on Amazon. And one of the members of the team took ownership of, no, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. This is going to be a real deal mascot. It's a great big dog. And it was custom designed, custom built, started with a drawing.
You were doing Bartlett's famously, which was your
Right.
dog parks in the parking street. So, and you mentioned how you have a lot of residential there, and with that comes a lot of dogs. So, was that sort of how Pico was informed?
It's twofold how Pico came to be. So, Pico was introduced pre-California Los Angeles wildfires a year ago. But I had this idea of Pico as sort of our version of Smokey the Bear. Only you can prevent dog shit on the sidewalk, right? And have this mascot who was sort of Smokey the Bear-esque, who could lead this campaign. The other part of it was being in Southern California, taking my kids to Disneyland, and you walk through downtown Disney, and here go these Disney Universal bastards faking my downtown. And they have a mascot, right? Like they've got all these costume cast characters. And I thought, well, I got the real thing. Why can't I steal from them and steal a mascot? And then we had to operationalize it. So we came up with this campaign around Pico being a public safety ambassador or a member of our clean team to address proper pet ownership and proper pet care in the public realm for pet owners. We introduced Pico by putting up signs around the district and the coffee shops that had sort of a cartoon drawing of this lost dog and a number and a website to go to if you had any information on this lost dog. And what people would see when they went to the website was information about proper pet ownership. They'd see information about the organization, about our clean team. And then the second phase of that was, well, nobody claimed Pico, so our organization is going to adopt him. But everybody has to have a role when you're a part of this bid family. And so his role was to be a member of the ambassador team. He has this sort of Smokey the Bear-esque responsibility of encouraging people to properly take care of their dog waste. And he appears in materials and in branding across the district. So he's on street banners. He's on the side of our new Big Belly garbage cans. We've got stakes in our planters that have sayings from Pico that remind dog owners that, we take care of watering the roses so your pet doesn't have to, et cetera, et cetera. So he's got these messages. And then he shows up for special events. So he'll be at our annual meeting. He is occasionally at the farmer's market. He'll be at ribbon cuttings if we have ribbon cuttings. So he shows up when there is something important for the CEO to show up to, because he's Pico, right? Like he's He's named after one of the more popular streets through the district that goes through all of Southern California. So he's, people are familiar with Pico.
You mentioned the Lakers play in the district there. I feel like the Lakers took something simple in a basketball game and made it a spectacle, right? With dancers and magic and Showtime and Hollywood, and created this big, one of the more recognized global brands. And they did that really without a mascot when a lot of sports teams were using mascots. And I wonder, looking at what Pico is, in some ways, it seems like it's the opposite of that, where you're taking something big and complex in a downtown district with a lot of things and using Pico to sort of humanize it, simplify it, and create a personal relationship. Does that resonate? Is that
Does. And I think this will, knowing this work well the way that you do, I think this will also resonate with you. Pico was as much about the work that we do is difficult, and it's gotten to be very difficult over the last 20 years, and it's evolved and it's changed a lot. It's as much about special events and placemaking and farmers markets and murals as it is about open air drug use, copper wire theft, really mental health, right? Like, we spend a lot of time in place management on things that we didn't really spend this much time on 15 years ago. So it was also a way to inject some fun internally into the team, right? It can't always be the heavy stuff. If I could put a $10,000 and Pico, I should be transparent there. Custom designing a mascot was way more than ordering it on Amazon. If I can put a $10,000 budget item in a $4.5 million budget to inject some life internally across the team, that's worth doing in and of itself. But it has had really external applications and impacts throughout the district as well. We're trying to create this environment that is very different from the branding and the imagery that's out there in the district, from what people's perceptions are of downtown. People's perceptions are downtown is a gritty place. It's a very urban place with the negative connotations of urban, right? And they're the very real problems of homelessness, street disorder, that are certainly central focuses in other parts of downtown. But I told you what makes this part really cool for me is the access to arts and culture, to transportation, sports and entertainment. And it's a cool place that I'm raising my kids. But you still walk past people in distress. And you may walk past someone in distress, but then out of the corner of your eye, there's a 6-foot-tall mascot, up on a light pole, right? On a flagpole. It plays a trick on you in terms of, where exactly am I? What exactly is the character of this district? It's a fun, vibrant sort of trick that we're trying to play on people. Multiple things happened at the same time that we introduced our brand. So we introduced our brand and Pico the beginning of 2025. We also experienced wildfires at the beginning of 2025 and ice raids in the middle of 2025. So nothing has dramatically changed externally. We've got all this really great imagery on our brand out into the district, on utility boxes, on garbage cans, on signs, on sign poles. But I'm not going to tell you the district is all of a sudden downtown Disney. It's not, right? We've still got a lot of work to do. What has changed, I think, is just this joy that you see from people that they now associate with the bid when they see Pico. You see Pico at the farmer's market, and there are families around, there are people trying to take pictures with Pico. Pico just brings a level of joy to the work that, while there's still a lot of work to do, it's nice to have that level of joy while you're doing it and while we're undergoing this transformation.
Original music and our theme song by the Pico Project. Links in the show notes. Thanks for joining us on this small block of the Sidewalk Ballet. I'm Chip. I'll see you downtown.